Hello ChessKids, FunMasterMike is here, and hold on to your seats. Wait a minute, you're probably walking down the street looking at your phone. Hold on to your device because we are going to look at a pretty cool idea in chess that is actually an extension of a recent ChessKid YouTube video I did called the fishing pole or the fishing hook. My memory is so bad, I don't even know what I called it. But it's also a little bit like the video on the ChessKid website called the hot file. Anyway, let's jump right into things because I think you're going to enjoy what I'm about to show you. White did not want that knight hanging out on g4, so white played the no parking sign. You've seen that before, but you know what the fishing pole is. Black is basically dangling this knight out here like bait, right? And if you bite onto it, black is going to catch a fish, or in this case, black's going to catch the white king. So black played the move h5. Now these concepts are already known because I know you've already watched all my videos, okay? All my YouTube videos, all my regular videos, you know the idea, okay? Turns out white is not immediately losing if white takes the knight, but it sure is scary because black takes back, the fishing hook is successful, and then the queen comes all the way over to the square h5, and black has to face checkmates on the h-file forever. And remember, if white tries f3, then black can play g3 and seal the king. Okay, white might be able to try to run away with rook e1, but it's still really, really scary after queen h5. So, white decided not to capture the knight. Pretty reasonable decision. Instead, white played the move queen to d2. Maybe the queen is going to come to a square like g5, trade queens, and just prevent this whole idea, right? Could be what's happening. But then black played queen to e5, threatening mate on h2. Now, this is the first move that white could have taken the knight, okay? And now white has a second chance to take the knight. If he takes the knight, prevents the mate, but it reopens the h-file. That's the problem. And if you take now, and I take back, obviously mate is threatened. And if you try queen f4, well, black's going to avoid the trade and play the move queen h5, and I don't think white's going to survive. So that queen is getting to h2 or h1 if you give her the chance. So white again did not take the knight. That's the second turn in a row white did not take. Let's put a little counter up on the screen. 2 chances to take the knight, didn't take it. Okay, played f4 instead. Then the queen gives check. Obviously here you can't take the knight because you're in check, so the king had to hide. That's 3 straight moves that this knight has just been hanging. Then black played bishop to d7, and here of course you better not take the knight, because if you do, pawn takes is immediately checkmate, right? Game is over. So in this position, for the 4th time, white did not take. And you know what? We're not even close to being done. I hope we have a lot of ink in our stamp on the screen there. So white played knight c3, some developing moves. Black played e6, okay? White again did not take. I don't even know what number we're up to here. Hopefully my producer is counting. I think that's number 5, okay? Again, if you take the knight here, you just get mated after pawn takes, okay? So bishop d4, completely controlling this diagonal. Now, even if the queen is removed from her spot, pawn takes will still be mate after pawn takes because the bishop guards the escape square, right? So what are we up to, like 6? I don't even know, okay? Bishop to d2, queen back to b6, and look at all of these moves. If at any moment white takes the knight, it's checkmate. The knight is sitting on 3 for the entire game. Okay, queen runs away. These moves are very interesting. Well, they're a little bit interesting. Okay, it almost looks like a draw is going to happen. Well, that wouldn't be very much fun for YouTube. So the queen hangs out on c6. Remember, the queen did not need to stay on that diagonal because the bishop is doing its job. What number are we up to? I don't know. I'm sure it's on the screen for you. Okay, so queen to e1. And yeah, white still cannot take. Now, there's going to be a moment where white gets ready to take, but that moment is not right now. A bunch of moving around of the chessboard is happening. The knight is just sitting there. It is the ultimate fishing pole example, okay? Bishop here, and now it almost looks like black's going to go for a mate because this pawn is pinned. If you give black enough chance, this rook is going to swing all the way over to g8, and black is going to go for a mate. In fact, black plays king to d7. He wasn't able to castle queenside because the bishop was attacking this square, but he is going to get the rook all the way over to g8, given the chance. Okay, so pawn up to f6. The rook does swing over. Things are happening. Takes, takes. Again, I have no idea what number we're up to, but this knight has been sitting there for several hours, maybe several minutes, but in YouTube land, that's basically several hours, and white still has never captured. Okay, queen to e4, queen to b7, bishop goes back to c3. Of course, if we trade bishops, we lose control of g1, and then wouldn't make for as much fun of a video, because then white would probably take. So the bishop hid out on a7, nice hiding spot. Pawn to b4. White is going for c5 to block that bishop so that his king will have an escape square. Okay, black tucked his king away. c5 finally happened. It almost looks like white is getting ready to take the knight. But after pawn takes, white still should not take the knight, because if he does, then when black takes back, the king obviously has to go to g1, but then black reopens the diagonal by playing pawn takes pawn discovered check, and black at least wins the piece back. Also, if you ever put a piece on f2, for example, your knight, I could even play the move g3, which wins the game here. Okay, so still you cannot take that knight after a pawn takes c5. So white gave a check, the king hit out, bishop takes check, the king hides on a8, white takes this, bishop takes, he still better not take the knight in this position, bishop back to g3, and it almost looks like white is about to capture the knight. Okay, this is actually discovered attack on the bishop, so the bishop hides on a7, and still the pawn does not take the knight. But why is that? Well, if the pawn takes the knight now, it's still mate. Okay, man, that was a little bit more obvious than I thought. It looks like white is about to block the control of g1. He plays queen to d3. He's going to get ready to put a piece on one of these two squares. And finally, the knight moves. Finally, because in this position, eventually white is going to put a piece on f2 and give the king a little bit of an escape hatch. So the knight moves. What number are we up to? Like 20, 21, 17, 700? It's on the screen right there. The knight was officially en prise for the better part of this entire video. A world record, we think. 93. Okay, and now the game, well, it kind of gets less interesting. In fact, white goes on the attack. I'm just going to make a few more moves because white eventually opens up that A file and is the one that becomes the aggressor. You can kind of see in this position, after queen back and then bishop f2, it's white that went after black. And actually, white went on to win a very interesting queen and pawn endgame. But I thought you'd like that. That's the ultimate fishing hook. It's like the old man in the sea. Right? It's like the Hemingway of chess problems. I know you probably have never read that book, but black went fishing hoping for a marlin, and as with my fishing trips, black ended up with nothing. So I hope you enjoyed that, chess kids. It is the ultimate example. Even though it didn't work out for black, I thought it was quite enjoyable that knight just hung out on g4 for the entire game. For more fun on ChessKid and on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time, chess kids.
Welcome to my world. Time to attack!
A knight on the rim is grim. Are you sure you know what you're doing?